excited. Will be our second home game. I think we've started the season quite strong, even though coming off a loss, I thought our performance was really good outside of those 5 minutes. So I think the energy's been really good. Group is bought in, and we're excited to, host again against a very competitive and gritty and good Louisville team.
Thank you for that. Dustin, go ahead.
Hey, Fabrice.
How's it going?
Good. You mentioned it there, but coming off a loss, you have a lot of young players, a lot of new players. How do you feel like how do you feel training has been this week? Bouncing back from that as you guys prepare for this match.
I think it's been really good. I think the energy, I think our internal leaders have been leading extremely well. They're bought in, they're glued in. Yeah, and I think us having real clarity as to what was our takeaways from last game was really important so that we all can kind of be aligned and just move forward. So, yeah, really proud of the group, really proud of our leaders, and, yeah, excited for tomorrow.
Yeah, you look at Louisville, they're one of the teams that very low in possession. They've been that way kind of for the last couple seasons. You guys this season have also been, a lot lower in possession, lower in passes. How do you see that matchup, where two teams are kind of very similar in that way? You guys match up with them?
Yeah, it'll be, obviously, we got to be really sound defensively and attacking transition. Obviously, being very clear as to what we want to do with the ball will be important. But yeah, I think it's important. One thing we've talked about our group is like we've got to be able to win in a lot of different ways. Whether it's having the ball for 60% of the time, whether it's having the ball for 30% of the time, and I think we're very adaptable, and we could be very comfortable having that ball for long periods of time. So yeah, I think that's the piece that we're excited about. Whatever the matchup kind of how the game plays out, we'll be ready for sure.
And I know Ben Olsen has talked about this with the Dynamo, but playing at home, playing at Shell Energy Stadium, getting points, especially in a league like the NWSL, it's so tight. There's so much parity. How important is it for you guys? You got that big win over Boston, but to keep that momentum up and have a really good home record this season, not only for the fans, but to be able to collect points and make a playoff push. Yeah,
look, I would love that we can look back and say, hey, this year Dash, like we had the best home record ever. I would love that, and I think making this a fortress, especially as you get into the hotter months, making this a really, really hard place to play in. So yeah, no, I think it's important, and I think we know that, and we carry a lot of pride to represent our club and our city when we host, and so I'm looking forward. Hopefully, we have another good turnout and good energy. But yeah, no, really excited for sure.
And just last one for me, you talked about pride representing the club. Avery and Jane get called up to the senior national team. You have players called up to U23s, U20s. As you guys continue to build, Angela, you, Twyla, everybody at the club, as you guys continue to build this, how big is that? As you guys continue to put these pieces in place, that you have these players going out and representing the Houston Dash by their name, and playing on the big stage like that.
Yeah, I think as we build our roster, like now we're having more internationals gone, right? Especially when you have the 20s and the 23s, and I think it's a great experience for those players to experience those moments, but also for our team. So I think that piece is, I think it's an honor. It's exciting. What it also does is allows us to really focus with the other, the rest of the group, and really be very intentional with IDP work, functional, so they really feel during that time we're making strides. So we're not skipping a beat, especially when everyone comes back.
Thanks, Fabrice. Best of luck tomorrow.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Manny, go ahead.
Hey, Fabrice. Looking into Racing Louisville's match, I think, as we mentioned, the parity of the league. If you look at the table, you would think that the Dash will have an easy matchup with Louisville just on the table standings. But can you explain, just how not to just to look at the table, but also look how their game plan is set, and especially with a lot of, I think, rookies at the beach, just to not to take any game lightly.
Yeah, this league will tell you there's no game you can take lightly. There's no team you can take lightly. That doesn't exist in this league. I don't care who you're playing against. So we know that, and we know from history. Also, Louisville is very comfortable. If you look at even some of the results, even the game they tied against Spirit, they're very comfortable not having the ball. They're very comfortable the other team hasn't, and they know that they could be lethal in transition, right? So, yeah, they're very good at what they do, and I know they're going to be ready. They're going to be gritty, and we gotta definitely match that intensity because it'll be a dogfight tomorrow, 100%.
And last one, I know the first two games was a complete defense shout out, a great defensive work. This past game, 2 goals in 2 minutes. What what's the mindset of we had good two defensive performances in the first two games. One maybe this past game, just to get back on the horse again and not let those mistakes happen again.
Yeah, if you actually look at take those 2 minutes out, if you just look at the numbers, the stats, like we were by far the more dangerous team. And so I think for us, yeah, like mishaps are going to happen, but how we respond and making sure like, we have good habits where those things don't potentially happen. But I've been really impressed with our team and our work rate and our grit and our defensive just resilience. So yeah, I know people talk about this game. We don't let 5 minutes affect us. We talk about it all the time. Circumstances don't affect our standards, don't affect how we approach things. So mentally, this team is on a different level in terms of their mindset and their strength when it comes to adversity and all those things. So it's a group I'm excited to keep building on, keep grinding games out with, and seeing what we can do this year for sure.
Yeah, coming off of a good game against LA, obviously bummed to get the loss, but I think overall the first 3 games, big picture-wise, we've performed really well. I think we're still putting pieces together and finding each other's rhythms and studying opponents and that sort of thing, but we're really, really excited to play Louisville. They also have some momentum this year, and I think it'll be a really hard-fought match and hopefully entertaining for everybody, so really excited to host them on Friday and be back at Shell.
For upcoming matches here in a couple weeks, just what does it mean for you to get back into the national team picture, especially as you guys get closer to a World Cup?
Yeah, always an honor. Super proud of Avery for representing the Dash, and I hope all the players getting called into 20s and 23s really, really. It's really cool for them as well. I'm super proud of them, and I think for me, it's always been on my horizon to try and at least make that roster. I didn't really know where I stood or anything, so it was a pleasant surprise for me. I'm very, very honored again to get my name called and represent the Dash at that level. So excited for the trip. It'll be a long one, and excited to kind of meet the new faces who I haven't met before and learn some new football info for these upcoming games against Japan.
Yeah, looking ahead to this week, Louisville, they beat you guys last season at home. I know it was a crazy game with the weather and all that. How much does that go into you guys' preparation? Is that something that sits with you guys like, hey, we owe them, or just kind of what goes into something like that?
I think last year we had 2 tough games against them, home and away, and I think it kind of left a mark on us, both games. So, obviously both teams are a little different this year with the roster, but nonetheless, I think it'll be a big game in that regard, like you said, kind of leaving a bad taste in our mouth from last year. And I think the new players who have joined us this year have kind of caught wind of that as well. So we're really, really excited. We know they're a great team. They have tons of talent, and either way, it'll be an entertaining game. But I think it's up to us to set the tempo. We're at home. We've got our fans. It's on our turf. And at the end of the day, we want to get 3 points. It's still the beginning of the season. We want to keep our momentum going and, really make a big impact in the league.
Yeah, and, you talked about it, a lot of new players for you guys, a lot of young players, but defensively, kind of in that core, you, Malia, Paige, you guys, veterans, you played in this league a lot. How important is that, not only defensively, but for the rest of the team being, newer and younger?
I think it's really important. I mean, I think the more you can keep players together for longer periods of time, the better you can understand each other. Me, Paige, and Malia, for instance, we can communicate without even talking to each other. We kind of know how one another move. And, adding Leah into the back line as a rookie, she's full of life, full of energy, and all of us are still trying to get to know her tendencies, what she sees on the field, why she thinks certain things. And, that's kind of a challenge in a fun way, not in a bad way. It's just a challenge getting to know players like that. So it's interesting, going through the spine of the group who are the returners. And then, you've got, a ton of new players making big, big impacts this year. I think having some continuity is great, but also adding new life and energy to the group is also a good thing. I think at this level, we're able to kind of mold and adapt and gel as quickly as we can together. But that's always the challenge, right? When you have new players come to a team or a new coach or whatever, it's how quickly you can gel and how quickly you can start and gain momentum throughout the season because it is so long. So, it's great to have the returners back, of course, and it's obviously a big, big plus for us to add the people we've added.
Yeah, just last one for me. I know you guys are coming off a loss, but you guys have gotten a lot of plaudits this season. There are people calling you guys contender, serious threats in the NWSL. As players, how do you guys kind of see this from the inside? I know you guys are still growing, but you still feel like, we still need to win, we still need to prove it, or do you guys feel like there's a difference, kind of a changing of the tide here where you guys, can compete among the best teams?
I think all the talk is great. There's going to be negative talk and positive talk, and at the end of the day, it shouldn't affect us, either way. I mean, I think I don't know this, but I would assume last weekend everyone was talking about, the undefeated teams. I'm sure people caught wind of that, and then there was some added pressure if we're going to be undefeated. And, I think it's just talk. And also, we're only 3 games in. This is game 4 for Houston, and there's, over 25 games remaining. There's so much left to play, and so many things can happen, and which is great, and it's super exciting. It's very, very exciting, of course, that we've gotten off to a good start, but the name of this game is how consistent you can be and if you can keep that momentum going. So I still think the group has a long way to go. We have a lot to learn. We have a lot to still learn within the room and within each other in different formations and different systems. And, we're off to a good start, but I think for us, we don't want to settle. I think our goals and hopes and dreams since Angela and Fabrice have taken over and really, really kind of revamped the brand is that, we do have goals to make playoffs and goals to win a championship. And, they're good goals to set, but we also have to hit all of our mini milestones before that. You can't just talk about it. You kind of have to be about it. So, really proud of the group, but at the same time, we've achieved nothing, we haven't done anything yet. So I think it's really exciting for us. I think everybody's really hungry in the room, and we just need to make sure we're hungry till November.
Thanks, Shane. Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
Anything else here for Jane before we wrap up? Oh, Manny, go ahead.
Hey, Jane. Just to piggyback back on the start of the season and the momentum you have. I know we were talking to Fabrice this couple of weeks. It was really emphasizing on the start of the season. 2 wins and 1 loss. It's a good start for the season. I think as one of the leaders in the locker room, what's the message for the team and for the rookies to continue that momentum, or just to even though suffer a loss, just to pick up and keep going?
Yeah, I think the biggest change, playing in the league versus like playing in college, for instance, is the college season is so short and compact. It's really, really fast, and it's over in a blink of an eye. And our season is much longer and spread out through almost the whole calendar. And I think that's a big change. I think, as you get, the years through the league, you start to think like, okay, it's not about the short game anymore. It's about the long game. And this isn't a sprint, it's a marathon. And so I think all of us in the room, especially me, myself, I mean, I don't look too far ahead other than the next game. You just can't afford to do that. We're at game 4 and game 4 only. We have just so many more games to play, and you can't lose sight of what's in front of you and where your feet are. And at the current moment, we have a game against Louisville tomorrow, and I think that should be our only focus, just one game at a time, because again, it is a long season and it's only April, but at the blink of an eye, we'll be in November and we'll be, trying to make playoffs, right? So it goes by fast, but at the same time, it's a long season. Every game matters, every moment matters, and I think the message to the group is that we're just going to take it one game at a time, work each week, day to day, and see if we can make a bigger impact the following game.
my last question to you. I know you mentioned that, and the work that Angela and Fabrice have been there since you're one of the longest attending a Dash player in the team. How different has it been, especially their second year here compared to the rest of their seasons, and how is that showing not on the pitch as well, but also as the community for the Dash and the fans?
I think each year I've been in the league, this is year 10, each year the league itself has obviously gotten more professional. There's more money, there's more investment, there's more eyes on the sport, which is amazing. I think in regards to, our organization, I just think, when Ted took over in 2021, there was more investment. And I think we needed the pieces of the puzzle to come together that really believed in us. And I think in maybe years past we had the pieces, but maybe not the right puzzle, if that makes sense. And I think with them, they're both on the same page. Angela and Fabrice, they have the same vision. They have the same passion for this club. They have the same belief, and they've instilled it in their entire staff, and they've instilled it in all the players. And I think it's something really special. I think they make sure that everybody is on the boat going together, and if someone doesn't want to be on the ship, then they can get off. But I think that kind of pride and joy that we have to wear the crest and represent Houston as a city and represent the league as a whole, I think you can feel it in the locker room. You can feel it, in the building even. And I hope the fans can sense it. I hope that they'll see a team this year that is very proud to play for them and proud to play at Shell and wear the colors and really make a statement this year in the league and for years to come. So I think it's still a brand that's growing. It's, kind of somewhat new because they just took over, but I think they want to make sure that it's a brand that has a ton of belief and a ton of passion behind it. And I think they've done a really good job thus far instilling that in all of us. And it's up to us as players to make sure the fans feel that every time we play, whether we're home or away.